Good afternoon. I am Jessica Carroll, the Interim Program Manager for Measure 110, and I'll be assisting Amy with facilitation for today's meeting. The Oversight and Accountability Council welcomes and encourages community input. Members of the public are invited to submit public comments or get on our interested parties email list by emailing oha.measure110@odhsoha.oregon.gov. That email address and more information about the council can be found on the Measure 110 OAC website. For more information or support with community engagement, please contact Sydney McConnell. OAC members have asked that OHA and other staff who are present in the meeting space introduce themselves in the chat. Please share your role with the agency, and if you are a subject matter expert, your area of expertise. And with that, I'll hand it over to Amy, who is our facilitator for today's meeting.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ballot Measure 110 meeting today. We have a lot on the agenda today. Burn partner grant agreement, discussions and votes, tribal extension formulas, discussion and votes, grant extensions for discussion and votes, and OHA updates. And then we also have an executive session. Right now, I'd like to turn it over to Sydney for attendance.
Thanks, Amy. And I'll try to come on camera just for a minute, but I don't think it'll last very long. Hi, everybody. If you could say here when I say your name, Amy. Oh,
here.
Carlos. Hi, Amy. Carlos.
Here.
Hey, Carlos. Caroline.
Here.
Hi, Caroline. Dharma.
Here.
Hi, Dharma. Hubert.
Here.
Hi, Hubert. Hunter.
Here.
Hi, Hunter. Jackie Mercer.
Here.
Hi, Jackie. Jaren.
Here.
Hi, Jaren. Keisha.
Here.
Hi, Keisha. Leticia. No, she said she would be here and then have to jump and then come back. So I'll watch for her to come back. Linda will not be here today. Melinda. No Melinda yet. Meredith.
Here.
Hey, Meredith.
Hello.
Morgan. No Morgan yet. Nicole.
Here.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
Onisha.
Here.
Hi, Onisha. Ron.
Here.
Hi, Ron. Ryan.
Here.
Hi, Ryan. Sabrina. No Sabrina yet. Zeb.
I'm here.
Hi, Zeb. Annalise.
Here.
Hi, Annalise. And Jackie Fabric.
Here.
Hi, Jackie. I'm just going to go back through the folks that weren't here. Leticia, still not here. Melinda, Morgan, Sabrina. All right, we have 17. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Sydney. I'd like to pass it back to the presenter. So the Burn partner grant amendment discussion and vote for Providence, Newburgh, and Yamhill County.
Hi, everyone. While we are right before we get Providence folks in the room to make their presentation, we'd like to do a call for conflicts. As a reminder, OAC members with an actual conflict of interest cannot participate in the discussions on the matter that presents a conflict. In order to best protect members, we'll be calling for conflicts before a matter on the agenda is discussed. If the matter could present a conflict for y'all, on the agenda today is a proposal regarding funding decisions for a current Measure 110 grantee. And y'all may have a potential or actual conflict of interest regarding this matter. If you announce a potential conflict of interest, you must must announce the nature of the conflict that you can participate in the discussion and vote. If you announce an actual conflict of interest, you must announce the nature of the conflict and refrain from participating in the discussion, and please turn your camera off. If there are not enough members to vote on the proposal, members with actual conflicts of interest will be asked to vote in roll call order until a majority of votes for or against is reached. 8 votes are needed to make an official decision. Again, the presentation you'll hear in a moment is from Providence Health Systems in Newburgh, which is in Yamhill County. Not seeing any hands. We'll assume that there are no conflicts. So with that, can we get our Providence folks in from the waiting room?
Yeah, we've let in Jenny Green, who I know is here from Providence, and
I'm scrolling through my screens. Can't see everything.
no, it's okay. Jenny? Give her a moment.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Is there anyone else who you brought and that might be in the waiting room from Providence?
Yes, I have, Kristen Powers is on her cell phone.
Got it.
She wasn't able to get on, yeah.
Is that a 541 area code?
Let's see, I'm texting her to ask, are you 541 area code? She said, I'm Daisy.
I don't see a Daisy. I do see 541. I don't want to say the number out.
Oh, she said yes.
Oh, okay. So I'm admitting her now. Okay, perfect.
Great.
We have lots of folks in the waiting room today, so just want to make sure we're letting in the appropriate people. Welcome, Jenny.
Thank you. Nice to see you again, Jessica. We submitted slides. Are there slides with that or great? Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, how do I, sorry, try to negotiate all of these technology things. All right, thank you for having us. My name is Jenny Green. I'm a senior grants officer, and as everyone said, we're representing Providence Newburgh Health Foundation that's in the Yamhill County burn. I am joined hopefully by Kristen Powers. Are you there, Kristen? Can you introduce yourself?
I can't. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Hi, I'm Kristen Powers. I'm one of the directors for behavioral health for Providence, overseeing much of Oregon.
Great. And Kristen and I are here to request a change of services in our extension for that would go into place in our well, currently or in our extension request. Next slide, please. Great. So as background, we were originally funded for low barrier SUD treatment, the screening assessments, comprehensive behavioral health needs assessments, and peer services. We would like to change our services to be only peer services because when our application was originally submitted, it was written by a program manager in Yamhill County. And the proposal was to hire an addiction psychologist, a new addiction psychologist to add to our existing services that are not part of the burn. And we were unfortunately unable to hire that addiction psychologist. Then this year in 2023, the program manager who was overseeing that program and who would have hired that person has now resigned and is no longer in that position. So without a program manager and someone to lead that new position, we are not expanding. And so we have hired a peer support. So we have active peer support engagement with our burn partners, and we would like to continue the peer support portion of our services. Next slide, please. So thus our extension request is for peer services only. And I wanted to have Kristen, who's right in the program side, talk about what is going on in Yamhill County in our facility now.
Great. So I think most people on this committee are very familiar with the kind of the value that peer support specialists bring to kind of both working with individuals struggling with set issues, as well as working with community agencies to kind of navigate and help to pull together services for those individuals. And Taya, who we hired, has been amazing. She's really embedded within the community. She is working at a local shelter where Providence has some other services around primary care that comes in as well. And, you know, we had hoped to have the addiction psychologist and the peer really kind of partner together. And, but you know, we have this we've been really lucky because we have a fairly robust psychology program out in Newburgh anyway. So we've been able to kind of tie her into some of that stuff. She's worked with the emergency department folks to get connected to individuals needing navigation services out into the community and to get connected. So we just really feel like this part of it has been really valuable. So if anything, expanding on it would probably be something Newburgh would be really appreciative of. But I just want to give a shout out to how well Ty has done in this role so far. So I hope that helps, Jenny.
Great. Yeah, thank you. And so, you know, we reiterate that the Yamhill County burn will still have all Measure 110 services, even if our Providence's services are reduced, and that, as Kristen just said, Taya is tied into all of our burn partners and is referring, connecting with them. Next slide, please. So then I just wanted to sort of indicate our budget. So we were originally awarded, as you see, 273,213. Our spend estimate, because we obviously didn't hire the psychologist, and that was a large portion of our budget. So we have 199,723 in unspent revenue that would be returned to Measure 110 from this contract. We hope that the OAC will approve our reduction in services, and we can move forward with an extension request that we've already submitted a new budget for, and that you know, the money could be sort of applied to our new request with only peer services. So that's what we're asking now, is that you reduce us to, allow us to change to only peer services. Next slide, please. So thank you. We appreciate the committee's time, your work, and your attention. We have, Providence has 4 burn services. We're in 4 burns, and I know it's a lot of work for you all, and we appreciate everything that you're doing. I am happy to answer any questions, and Kristen is on the line if you have more specific questions about the program or anything on that level.
Thank you, Jenny. Does anyone have any questions for Jenny? I see you.
So I'm sorry, this is Amy. I just have a question. So what I'm understanding you saying is you're returning that money to us, but need an extension to offer the services, the peer services, or?
Yes, we would like to continue to, you know, Taya has been hired under the current grant, so we have an extension request, right, to continue our peer services. So there is an, you know, an extension request that is, I guess, well, you will be voting on it later, right? Since we couldn't move forward with the extension request until you approved this change in services.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, thank you. I see Ron has his hand up too.
Yes, hi, thank you very much for the presentation. Thanks for coming and presenting this. A couple of questions, just in terms of the remaining budget. how many peers would that represent? That's my first question. And second question, would that budget also include clinical supervision for peers or peer supervision?
Great. So looking at I pulled up the extension. I'm sorry, I'll be looking slightly off camera because the budget's on a different screen. So in our extension request, we are continuing TIA for the 18 months of the extension requests. We have also added a second peer at 0.6 FTE to the new budget so that we can slightly expand our peer services that are being offered. And we have requested 0.1 FTE of the peer supervision. The TIA and the is now under, if you've heard of it, Providence has a Better Outcomes Through Bridges program, which is the BOB program. And that's the program that oversees peers in all of our other burn locations also. So TIA, because of the retirement or because the manager in Yamhill County left, TIA has moved under the BOB program. So we have a clinical supervisor that's part of that BOB program now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Meredith?
So yeah, this is Meredith. I'm social worker. I was looking at, you have the peer services, which were great, and you're going to reach out to the bridge program. What was the intent of the psychologist? Was that to provide mental health services? And if so, was there alternative and maybe to hire like social work or outsource the mental health piece of the program?
I can start. Oh, good. Can you? Great.
Yeah. I think that, what's really important with, the population, we feel like, is that sometimes there are special needs, right? Like there's special understanding around how substance use affects cognition, how people's trauma affects their cognition. And so, the idea around the addiction psychologist having kind of availability and bandwidth to be able to kind of treatment plan with individuals was so that they wouldn't have to come specifically to Providence Medical Group to have that done, but that the psychologist could go to the shelter, could go to some other location, meet with the peer and the individual, and kind of be doing some screenings to try to just better connect individuals to services that maybe, and then also treatment planning around how people receive information, how they process it, and also just kind of deeper understanding of the complexities of addiction. And I think we've seen that happen kind of with some individuals in our own clinic, but really being able to expand that out into the community. We saw that as having value. We just couldn't find an individual to take that position.
Gotcha.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, so they still have the other mental health piece at the clinic.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think once the manager there left, then the peer support, as I say, moved from under her to under the BOB program. So, the whole management of the situation changed. And so I think that would be the difficulty of bringing in a different level position now. Right? Is that fair, Kristen?
Yeah, no, that's very fair.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
I don't see any more hands. If there are no more questions, we'll go ahead and move Jenny and Kristen out to the waiting room for our votes. Thank you, Jenny and Kristen.
Thank you. If
Thank
there are
you.
additional
Thank you.
questions, you can move me back in. I'll wait in the waiting room. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Would somebody like to make a motion or?
I'd like to make a motion to approve Providence, Newburgh, and Yamhill County's proposal for reduction.
Second.
All right, so
I'll second that.
I think that was already seconded, Meredith, but
Oh.
it's been thirded. All right. Okay, so we have a motion to accept, to approve Providence's proposal as stated in the slides by Amy. We have a second by Dharma and a third by Meredith. Any more discussion? Hearing none, we can move to Sydney for the vote.
Thank you. Sorry, I was just making sure I wasn't double muted. Motion to approve this proposal as shown in the slides. Amy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Carlos.
Yes.
Thank you. Caroline.
Yes.
Dharma.
Yes.
Hubert.
Yes.
Hunter.
Yes.
Jackie.
Yes.
Jaren.
Yes.
Keisha.
Yes.
Leticia. Has Leticia come back? Yep, there she is. Leticia, would you like to vote?
Yeah, I abstain. I wasn't present for most of the presentation.
No problem. Melinda. Did Melinda join us? Nope, not yet. Meredith.
Yes.
Morgan yet either. Nicole.
Yes.
Onisha.
Yeah.
Thanks, Onisha. Ron.
Aye.
Ryan.
Yes.
Has Sabrina joined us yet? I don't see Sabrina yet. And Zeb.
Yes.
All right, that passes with 15 yes votes and 1 abstention. And I'll send a message to the waiting room to let Ginny know that we are done.
All right, passing it back to Amy.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for that vote. And so now we're going to do pass it back to a presenter for the tribal extension formula discussion and vote.
All right, y'all, we're gonna talk about the tribal grant extension formula, but first we're gonna call for conflicts. So as Kristen stated earlier, if you announce a potential conflict of interest, you must announce the nature of the conflict, but you can participate in the discussion and vote. If you announce an actual conflict of interest, you must announce the nature of the conflict and refrain from participating in the discussion, and please turn off your camera during it. Would anyone like to declare a conflict? Jaren.
This is just a question, but being a tribal member isn't a potential conflict or a conflict, right?
So unfortunately, I can't give you advice on conflicts. That can only be done by the Oregon Government Ethics Commission. So I would love to answer your question, but I just can't.
So just put it on the record that I'm enrolled in the Klamath Tribes, but I don't believe there is any conflict.
Okay, thank you for that. Dharma.
I have a potential conflict of interest with the Confederate Tribes of Siletz Indians.
Okay, so you can go ahead and thank you for declaring it. You can go ahead and participate and vote. Jackie.
Hi, everyone. I'm declaring a conflict of interest because NARA is listed as a recipient on this list.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
declaring an actual, so please turn your camera off and refrain from the conversation and discussion. Thank you. And Caroline.
Well, I'm the tribal representative. You know, that's why I was selected to be on Measure 110. So I don't believe I have a conflict because I represent their voice. But I do want to declare I am a tribal member for the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs. But I oversee I'm the general manager. I don't directly run the program though, but I am the boss of that program. So, so I don't believe I have a conflict. But I just wanted that to go on record too.
Okay, so you're declaring a potential or you're just wanting it on the record?
I just want it on the record. I don't believe I have a conflict. I can't be the representative for the tribes and then not be involved.
I don't disagree with you, Caroline. Thank you so
Okay.
much for letting us know.
Okay.
And Meredith.
Maybe potential. I used to work for Cal Creek for mental health. Don't know, I no longer work with them, so not sure. It's been years, probably about 4 years, but I don't think it's a conflict, but I guess name it as a potential.
All right, so that's if
Yeah.
you're declaring a potential conflict of interest, you can go ahead, leave your camera on, participate in the discussion and vote. Zeb.
Yeah, I'm not declaring the potential or an actual. I'm a Sluts tribal member, but I have no financial gain. I don't work for the tribe. I'm not representing the tribe here. But everybody else was naming off the tribe, so.
So you're just potentialing it or just want it for the record?
It's for the record.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thanks. I don't see any more new hands. Thanks everyone. So, here is a list of the tribes who are receiving the set aside, the tribes and the Urban Indian Health Program. Can we go to the next slide, please? And so what happens, this has happened before, you all have seen one of these before. The tribe, you declare a tribal set aside, you vote on a tribal set aside, the tribes get together and they decide collectively how they're going to distribute those funds. We bring those numbers back to you and then you can approve this or not. So it's pretty simple. Sorry, it's pretty simple. And I think we have another slide, please. And this is an example of a motion that you could bring. Would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll move it. I move to
Second.
approve the allocation of funds submitted by OEC by the tribe for the tribal grant extensions as listed on slide 4. OHA is authorized to prepare tribal grant extensions with the amount listed in slide 4 using the OAC tribal grant extension template once that is approved by OAC.
I second.
All right, so we have the motion that was on the screen from Ron. We have a second from Amy. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we can move on to the vote. Sydney?
I'm sorry, I was getting gas. I'm heading to the airport. I have to declare conflict. I can't vote.
Okay, so just go ahead, turn your camera off and we won't have you vote. All right, thank you, Onisha. Okay.
So that's an actual conflict, just for the notes.
Sounds like an actual conflict, yes.
Okay. Okay, Amy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Carlos?
Yes.
Caroline?
Yes.
Dharma?
Yes.
Hubert?
Yes.
Hunter?
Yes.
Jackie declared an actual conflict. Jaren?
Yes.
Keisha?
Yes.
Leticia?
Yes.
Meredith?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Onisha also declared an actual conflict. Ron?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
And Zeb.
Yes.
All right, that passes with 14 yes votes, but we have 16 members present. I'm sorry, 18 members present.
Are you gonna send those slides out? I'd like to get the slides out.
Yeah, they
I'll-
get posted to the website and we can definitely send them out to you.
Thanks.
All right, sending it back to Amy.
All right, great. Thank you, everyone. Now we're going to move on the grant extensions for discussion and vote, and I will turn it back over to Jessica.
Hi again, everyone. We're going to talk about the grant extensions and vote. We are going to call for conflicts again, potential conflicts of interest, announce the conflict, the nature of the conflict. You can still participate in discussion and vote. Actual conflict of interest, please announce the nature of the conflict and refrain from participating in the discussion, obviously the vote, and please turn off your camera. Can we get a list of the grantees up for us so that everyone can be fully informed? And next slide, please. These are the grantees you will be voting on. Oh, that's it? Okay, that's it. All right. Just want to make sure. Well, all right, and let's go back to the conflict slide. Would anyone, or I'm sorry, I meant the list of providers. Yeah, so would anyone, yes, Dharma?
Yeah, sorry, I need to get to my other list that has everything on there. Yes, I'd like to declare an actual conflict of interest with Benton County Health Department and a potential conflict of interest with Samaritan Health Services.
Okay, since this is a slate that you're voting on, Dharma, and you declared a actual conflict of interest, we're going to ask you to just stay off camera and refrain from discussion and vote. Any other conflicts of interest that anyone needs to declare at this time? Okay, hearing none. Can we get the next slide? And I think maybe then, let's see. All right. I'm going to go over these quick because I know we have an executive session to get to. Again, this is the same process that all grant extensions have gone through. All Measure 110 partners were asked to submit a grant extension budget request. They could not request capital funding for real property or vehicles. They were asked to calculate spending and carryover funds, and they were asked what they would need to maintain Measure 110 services through the end of the grant extension, which is June 2025. Sorry, I had something pop up on my screen. The Measure 110 team validated all of the requests. They ensured the budget asks were clear. Insured partners didn't cut services, and ensured the budget asks were in alignment with the approved scope of work that you all had approved. Next slide, please. Measure 110 partners were asked to certify the budget request, so they verified all carryover spending and ensured that the budget asked was correct. They affirmed that any unspent grant money would be returned at the end of the grant extension period. So when we say unspent money, that's at the end of 2025. And they updated all of their contact information, so we had good information to reach them. The Measure 110 team verified partners were in substantial compliance with the terms of the grant, meaning they had a current registration with the Oregon Secretary of State. Currently, they had all of their submitted certificates of insurance. They had submitted all 12 policies and procedures, and they didn't have any outstanding items to cure. The Measure 110 team will be bringing groups of Measure 110 partners to the OAC for approval and batches, steps 1 through 4 are complete. And next slide, please. All right, again, here are the partners with their budgets. That's okay. That looks like more partners than we got in the first. All right, so we haven't had any discussion. It looks like there are some other organizations here. We had an extra slide of organizations. So can everyone please take a look at the slide? And if you have any conflicts with any of these organizations, please declare them now. Okay, good. Okay. Next slide, please. Whew. All right, and then we have an example motion if you'd like to use it.
I'd like to make the motion. I move to extend the grant agreements of the organizations and dollar amounts listed on slides 7 and 8 through June 30th of 2025.
I second.
Awesome.
Lakeisha.
So, yeah, so we have a motion from Amy and we have a second from Lakeisha. Any discussion, Jaren?
Can we go back to that first slide?
Yes, we can. The conflict slide or the first slide of providers?
The first slide of provider.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure we're going to the right slide. Just give us 1 second and we'll get that up for you.
Sorry, one moment, it closed on me.
It's okay, Carly.
Jessica, I have a conflict of interest with OHSU. Sorry about that. I couldn't find my mute button fast enough.
That's okay. That's okay. So are you declaring it a potential or actual conflict?
An conflict of interest.
Okay, you have an actual conflict, so we're going to ask you to refrain from discussion and not vote and just stay off camera, Nicole. Thank you.
Thanks.
Is there Jackson or Josephine counties on the next slide, or is that it for?
Nope, that's it.
All right, thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. So I think we can go ahead and vote if there's no discussion. All right, Sydney.
Okay. I apologize. I've been juggling screens, but I believe the motion was stated as written on that slide and seconded. Amy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Carlos.
Yes.
Caroline.
Yes.
Thank you. And Dharma.
Abstain.
I'm sorry. Yes. Hubert.
Yes.
Hunter.
Yes.
Jackie.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
Keisha.
Yes.
Leticia.
Yes.
Meredith.
Yes.
Nicole has an actual conflict. Onisha voted yes in the chat. Ron.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
And Zeb.
Yes. Yes.
All right, that passes with 14 yes votes. Again, 18 members present.
And sending it back to Amy.
All right, great. Good job again, everyone. So now we're going to do the OHA updates with Jessica. Back to you, Jessica.
Hi again. Just 2 quick updates before we move on. So thank you all for your diligent work in approving these grant extensions. We have one more scheduled meeting this year, this month, and that is next week. I want to put on your radar that we may need to hold a special session to vote on the last final extensions on the 20th. It would be a short meeting or as short as you all want it to be, but we may need to do that depending on whether we're able to get all of them moved by the 13th, which is the next meeting. So I have an ask if you could please block off, 45 minutes on your calendar on the 20th at this normal time, which would start at 1:30. Just in case we have some final grant extensions that need to be approved. And that's what we would be doing at that meeting. I just want to thank you all for all of your hard work. I want to thank, the Measure 110 team at OHA for moving this almost Herculean task across the finish line of getting all of these grants extensions negotiated. We're almost there, y'all. It might take a little extra few minutes, but we're gonna get there. So thank you so much. And we have a quick equipment reminder from Sydney McConnell, and then we'll pass it back to Amy.
Hey, y'all, just really quickly, I just want to say thank you to everybody who has reached out and confirmed that their equipment is working or let us know that there is an issue. I just want to reiterate that we cannot assist unless you reach out to OIS. If you need help reaching out to OIS, we are happy to help. Just let us know. But OIS has to create a ticket, and they can likely remote into your computer to get whatever your issues are fixed. But we nor the business office can do any assistance until that ticket is opened. So I just wanted to stress that to everybody, but please let us know if we can help you in any way. And then I'm also going to drop a message in the chat. Just if you know for sure that you cannot make that meeting on the 20th, let us know so that we can plan for quorum and make sure we can get folks in to get that vote made. We just want to plan really far in advance. We'll get the calendar invite out as quickly as we can.
And just one additional comment on that special meeting. If we need to have it, we will let you know at the next meeting if we need it. We will know by then if we're going to need it. So you will have at least a week's advance notice. But if you could help us out by planning ahead for, and if not, you get that space back in your calendar and you can, take care of yourself. So, all right. With that, I'm going to pass it back to Amy, who's going to read a statement.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, everyone. The Oversight and Accountability Council will now meet in executive session pursuant to ORS 192.660 in parentheses a 2 and in parentheses an F to discuss documents that are exempt by law from public inspection under ORS 192.345 parentheses 37. Representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on or otherwise disclose anything said about these subjects during the executive session, except to state in general subject of the session as previously announced. No discussion may be made in executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will not return to the live stream of today's meeting. And with that, we will end this and go into executive session. And thank you, everyone.